Hello Sumit, welcome back again to the channel. Today my name is Jenny. So guys, I've gone ahead to make the signature hair for every tailor. It's called the all back, you can see. So anyway, today's video is going to be the cutting and the sewing of this net blouse, as you can see on the screen. So I think every lady should have this blouse in their closet, irrespective of who you are. So if you have that corset dress that does not have a yoke, or you have any dresses that you feel that you can't wear anymore because it exposes most of your body, so I think this net blouse is really necessary for you. So just go ahead and check it out and keep on watching and stay with us to the end of this tutorial. So if this sounds like what you're interested to learn, guys, don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, like and share this video, and also turn on your notification bell so that when I post a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. So let's get into the video. Welcome back again, Sumit. So guys, let's go ahead and draft out the pattern. Divide your shoulder measurement into two. So mine is 7.5, then I'm going to add half inch to that, making 8 inches. Okay, I came down by half inch for shoulder slope. From that shoulder slope, I came down by 7.5 inches for my armhole length. Then place your tape right at the shoulder, come down by your bust point, your half length. Then from that half length, I'm going to add extra 5 inches to that. So that is going to be the top length. I hope you understand. So after marking it at that part, I'm going to just mark it on this other part. So the total length of this blouse is 22.5 for me. Okay, let me just say 23. The total length is 23, which is still fine. 23, 24 is okay for a blouse length. So after doing that, go ahead and connect the points together. So after doing that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to divide what I have at this armhole length, get the midpoint. Then I'm going to also place my shoulder measurement on the chest line, and also place my bust divided by 4 on the chest line. So I'm going to just connect it like this. So I think there was a mistake at that part, so I have to correct it so that I have like a straight line. Okay, so after marking the straight line for the armhole length, the next thing I went ahead to do is to go ahead and add my stitching allowance. I hope you understand. So I added 1.5 for my stitching allowance, then I went in by half at that midpoint. So I remember the fabric I'm using is stretchy, is a stretchy net, so I went ahead to reduce the allowance. Okay, so I'm added just 1 inch stitching allowance. So at the waist area, I'm also going to divide the waist by 4, then I'm going to add 1 inch for stitching allowance. At the hip area, divide it by 4 and add 1 inch stitching allowance. So for me, the front is not going to have a dart. Okay, so the front is not going to have a dart. After that, I went ahead to connect the points together. So after doing that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark out 3 inches for the neck width. Okay, so I'm going to be using 3 inches for the neck width. So for the neck depth, I decided to use 3.5 inches. So if you like, you can make use of 3 inches. So for me, I don't want it to choke me, but I still want to have like an high neckline. Okay, I hope you understand. So that is why I'm using 3.5 inches. So after that, go ahead and connect the shoulder slope, and that is it for the drafting of the front pattern. You can see, before cutting it, make sure you add your stitching allowance of 2 inches at the bottom. Okay, so this is very necessary. Let's just add all the stitching allowance on the pattern itself, okay, to make it easy for us, because it's going to be a net. You know how net behaves, so just add all your allowance on the patterns. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight it for you guys to see it clearly. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind. So guys, after highlighting it, guys, on this open part where I've cut out already, I'm going to still close it up. So I'm going to just close up that part now. Then I'm going to cut at that allowance we added earlier. I hope you understand. Then after that, I'm going to just cut out this pattern. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. So guys, after cutting it out, this is what we are having for the front piece. You can see the length we have. So this is the proper length you should have for the blouse. So let's go ahead and draft out the back. So for the back, is going to have a zipper. I think that is the only difference. Okay, with the neck depth also. So it's the only difference between the front and the back. So every other thing is going to be the same. So after marking out the zip allowance of 1.5, I'm going to place the front piece on it like this. You can see on that zip allowance line. So I'm going to place the front on it like that. Then after placing it, I'm going to just trace out the side, trace out the shoulder, trace out the armhole area, and I'm also going to trace out the sides. So for the back, I'm going to be adding a dart at the back. So I marked 1 inch at the waist area. So I added 1 inch at the waist area of the back. That is what you see me doing like this. You can see. So the back is going to have a dart. So after doing all of this, I'm going to connect the point together. So after connecting the points together, I'm sorry you cannot see it. I'm going to use my marker to make it visible. Okay. So after doing that now, I went ahead to mark out my bust span, which is 3.5. Then I marked 1/2 inch at both sides of that line. So this is the dart. And the length of this dart is around 4 inches. Okay. So for the length of this dart, I came down by 4 inches after the waistline. Okay, so that is where the dart is going to stop, 4 inches after the waistline. So after doing that now, I'm going to just connect the points together like this, and this is what we are having. So for the neck depth, I'm going to be using 1 inch. Then for the neck width, I'm going to be using 3 inches. So the same thing with that of the front. So after getting this is what we are having now. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and use my marker to outline all the parts for you guys to see. So guys, after doing that, this is what we have. So go ahead and cut it out. So guys, after cutting, this is what we have for the back. You can see. So this is the front and the back now. You can see. So go ahead and make use of this pattern, and especially the length is very okay. But for me, my fabric will not be enough. So what I'm going to do is to come down by 3 inches from the waistline. So before then, I'm going to just pin this. If your fabric is enough, go ahead and make use of the length like this. But for me, my fabric is very small, so I'm going to come down by 3 inches like this from the waistline. So if you also have a small fabric, you can also do the same like this. Okay, so I think this length is still okay. It will come out like a crop top. Hope you understand. So it will come out like a crop top, and this is it. So after marking it out, I'm going to cut it out like this. So guys, after cutting, this is the length I'm going to be using for my inner net. You can see my inner net blouse. So I'm going to cut it on my fabric. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut it on my fabric, and this is what we are having. So on this zip area, I'm going to just notch it like this. So go ahead and notch it out. So guys, this is what we have. So after doing that, the next thing is to go ahead and start stitching this down. So I'm going to open up the front piece, so you can see that this net is very stretchy. So at both sides, it's stretchy at both sides. Okay, so this is the back piece. You can see what we have for the back. So the first thing we are going to do is to go ahead and take out our darts. So you are going to be marking the dart according to the way it is on the pattern. So the first thing you do is to mark out your zip allowance. Then after doing that, from the zip allowance, you measure out your nipple to nipple measurement. which is your bust span. I hope you understand. Then for the length, you are going to stop it at the chest area. So exactly the way it is on the pattern, just follow it like that. Now after doing that, now let's go ahead and mark out the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I came down by 3 inches for the cap sleeve. So on that part is where I'm going to be dividing my armhole length, which is 8 inches. Then I'm going to add extra 2 inches to it, okay, making 10 inches. So after doing that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and make like a curve at the upper part. So just go ahead and curve this part out. So guys, after curving that part out, then I'm going to mark out 8 inches. Then I'll also mark out my elbow length, which is 13 inches. So to get a straight line, I'm going to mark it on this other part. Okay, so to get like a straight line. The next thing now to do is to determine the length of the sleeve. So for me, the length of my sleeve is 28 inches, but this paper is around 25 inches. So it's not enough, plus the seam allowance making 28 inches. Go ahead and divide your bicep measurement, which is your round arm measurement, divide it by 2 and place it there. So you're going to add your stitching allowance. So what you have on that bicep, you're also going to place it on the elbow length. I hope you understand. Then at the bottom, you're going to place your wrist measurements divided by 2 on that part. Then you add your stitching allowance. So guys, from the top, I'm going to come down by about 22 inches. Okay, so if your sleeve is not as long as this, you can come down by 20 inches. So for me, I'm going to come down by 22 inches because my sleeve is very long. So on that part, I'm going to also mark my wrist measurement divided by 2. Then I added my stitching allowance. So after doing that, now I'm going to just connect all the way like this to that point, that 22 inches, you can see. Then when I get there, I'm going to make like an A line at that part. So I'm going to just mark extra 2 inches or 1.5 inches at that part to give me like an A line shape at that part. Okay, so this is the kind of sleeve I want. So this is it, guys. You can see the sleeve, how it's looking. So after that, go ahead and cut this out. So guys, after cutting the sleeve, this is what we have now. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 2 like this, my net. So I'm still going to fold it again because I'm going to be cutting the 2 sleeves at the same time. Okay, so fold it into 2 like this. Then after that, you fold it again. So after doing this now, I'm going to place the pattern on it. So just go ahead and place the pattern on it like this. So remember, the sleeve length was not enough on the paper, so I'm going to add it up on my fabric. So from the top, I'm going to measure out 28 inches. So I'm going to measure out 28 inches, and that is the length of my sleeve. So I'm going to just hold this down with my pin so that it doesn't move all around. So after getting the length of the sleeve, the next thing is to just follow the shape and cut it out. So guys, after cutting, this is what we are having. You can see the bottom part of the sleeve, how it's looking like. So I don't know what to call this sleeve. Is it a bell sleeve or funnel sleeve? I think it's a funnel sleeve. So this is it, guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and place my measurement, and I'm going to just stitch it up. Okay, so I'm not going to be stitching it with the allowance I left. I'm going to be using more allowance on that part because the fabric is stretchy. After stitching down the dart, this is it. So I'm going to place the front on it like this, and I'm going to stitch up the shoulder. So after stitching up the shoulder, the next thing now we are going to do is to go ahead and pipe up the neck area. So I'm going to be using my bias strip to do that. I'm going to pipe up the neck area. Okay, so after piping up the neck area, I'll also go ahead and place my body measurement, and I'm going to stitch up the side. Okay, so this fabric is really stretchy, so I'm not going to be using the exact allowance I left, which is 1 inch. I'm going to be using more than that. So guys, after stitching it up, this is what we are having now. So the next thing is to go ahead and attach the zipper at the back. So after doing that, the next thing is to trim off the armhole. So I'm going to mark 1/2 inch away like this. You can see away from the armhole, just mark 1/2 inch at the top of the shoulder like this. So after doing that, now I'm going to place my tape at the shoulder to get the armhole length, which is 7.5. Then I'm going to just make like a curve like this. So this is very good to trim out your armhole before attaching your sleeve. Okay, after doing that, you go ahead and cut it out. So guys, I will also go ahead and do the same on the other side of the armhole. Then after that, I will go ahead and attach the sleeves. After attaching it, this is what we are having. This is the final look of the blouse. You can see this is very simple and easy to make and easy to have. So I think every ladies should have this in their closet. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like and share this video, and also remember to support this channel. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye. Baby.